World leaders are set to meet for the second day in Britain for the Artificial Intelligence Safety Summit. The first day yielded a rare concurrence between rivals, the United States and China. They're among countries that have signed a declaration on working together to tackle the risks posed by artificial intelligence. Julia Chapman tells us why participants at the summit have stopped short of calling for international regulation despite the dangers of AI.
There are a number of different approaches when it comes to the idea of regulation. For example, here in the UK, the government has been reluctant to talk about regulation until AI is better understood. But we are seeing other countries taking their own steps. The United States, for example, with Joe Biden signing an executive order moving slowly in that direction. Canada and the European Union both have legislation underway being passed through Parliament to crack down on any company that is developing AI unsafely. So we are starting to see individual countries taking those steps. We haven't seen any kind of calls just yet for a worldwide regulatory body, but what we might hear at the end of this summit is some sort of intergovernmental panel being formed akin to the one on climate change, which would produce annual reports about the risks and how they are developing, because there are big fears that artificial intelligence could surpass human intelligence, that bad actors like terrorists and hackers could use it for their ill-gotten means. And so we do certainly have a lot of concern being echoed here. There are people saying that there needs to be more done when it comes to regulation. Elon Musk among them yesterday saying that there needs to be a third-party referee in the AI sphere. But so far what we've been hearing mostly from those participating, the countries taking part in this summit, is that there needs to be cooperation as they come together to better understand the medium-term perspective for artificial intelligence.
Well, AI has become a very real problem when it comes to the dark web, where a report says that there's been an explosion of sexual abuse material involving children. CNA's Ottilie Edwards spoke to Ian Drennan. He's executive director of We Protect Global Alliance. That's an organisation working to protect children from sexual exploitation online.
We're seeing those technologies already being exploited by offenders and abusers. So what we're seeing is child sexual abuse material being created using artificial intelligence. There's a manual out there which shows offenders how to do it, and that really complicates the law enforcement response. We're also seeing offenders using AI to circumvent protections that companies have put in place to try and protect children from abuse.
And also financial sexual extortion. I mean, that has certainly become widespread. And also help us understand how devastating are these schemes that exploit children and teens through, threats and intimidation just for financial gain.
No, it's a new development, and it's one that's increased dramatically. So the FBI said there was a 7,200% increase in these kind of cases, which is absolutely staggering. What we're seeing is adolescent males, particularly being targeted. They're tricked into providing intimate images of themselves, and then those are being used to blackmail them for financial gain. But as I said earlier, we're now seeing AI coming into the mix. So you could be seeing deep faked images. So it's not, they don't even need to go to the trouble of duping them into providing the images. They can create those images through AI, but they can still use that, playing on that blame and shame that teenagers feel so acutely to try and extort money out.
And that is deeply troubling, what you've just shared with us. And when it comes to the AI Safety Summit that is taking place right now in the UK, I mean, it's been reported that tech giants like TikTok, Snapchat, Stability AI, they have pledged to combat this issue of AI-generated child sexual abuse images. But how do you think, what sort of an impact or a dent will it make in the spread of such, horrifying content?
I mean, we think that the joint declaration is a really positive move, and we were delighted to see our own global threat assessment quoted in that statement, and my colleagues were speaking at that summit. And I think this is a problem that no single actor can address single-handed. So it's beyond just national governments. It's beyond just companies. We need to be collaborating to develop solutions together. And so I see the output of the AI summit being a really positive step in that direction. We're also seeing really positive moves coming out of the Global Cybersecurity Forum here in Saudi Arabia. But I think all of that, that statement, that positive language, I think the key thing is going to be how it is implemented, what results we see on the ground. And for us to be able to understand that, we need transparency. So we need companies to be reporting on what they're doing and what is the effect that it's having.